We are happy to be indoors as it's still raining outside, but we are so excited. We have a very big announcement for you guys today. We have a new exhibit that will be opening here at the zoo, and we are going to talk about our latest VIP residents, our very important pigs. So get in, join us, let us know that you're here, that you can see us and hear us. We'll give a few shout outs and then we will start talking pigs. All right, let's see who's joining us here today. Hi Ann, thanks for tuning in. Good Friday morning, Maya in Michigan. Thanks for tuning in to us today. Hi Bethany in Flat Rock, Michigan. Hi Jane, thanks for tuning in. Hi Isabel, Colton, and Cassidy. Hey Jamie Lynn, good morning. Good morning Lucas and Madison. Hi Christy. Another one heard from here. Hi Eddie in Northville. Good morning Lula and Hazel and Ypsilanti. Hi Connie and Link. Thanks for letting us know you can hear us, you can see us. All right. And we're getting some good morning calls from our chickens over there too. Hi Kyler. Hi Tanya and Tiffin. Hi Jane in York, Pennsylvania. Good morning Katie in Bellevue. Hi Tina, thanks for tuning in. All right guys, we are, oh my gosh, these pigs are so cute. I hate to pull the attention away, but we're going to start with our morning announcements before we introduce you guys to our brand new exhibit and our newest residents, our very important pigs, and yes, those chickens you can hear in the background. So we wanted to let you guys know that while we are hopeful for a reopening date, we do not have one yet. Please stay tuned to our social and our website. As soon as we know more, we will update you here and on those platforms. Don't forget about our Meals on the Go menu for next week is already up. Check it out and get your orders in early at toledozoo.org/mealsonthego. Also, tomorrow night is date night for our virtual troop trivia. If you haven't signed up yet, go to toledozoo.org/virtual trivia to sign up. And of course, our education department is still doing amazing classroom visits, moving all around the zoo, getting you guys some cool information. Check all that out at toledozoo.org/virtual. And of course, as we said, we do remain closed at this point, and we appreciate all of your support to get us this far. And we always have our donate button here for you on our live feeds, and you can always visit toledozoo.org/donate to help us sustain during this time. All right, we're not going to wait any longer. We are here with our president and CEO, Jeff Saylor, and he is going to introduce us to the Nancy L. and Martin Davidson Barnyard exhibit and talk about our newest residents, our Mangalitza pigs. Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
We're great. We're excited to see these cuties.
Yeah, they're really fantastic. These are our 3 Mangalitza pigs. They are a really unique breed of pig from Hungary and Central Europe. They were developed around 1900, and they were very popular as bacon and lard pigs. But like a lot of heritage breeds, they don't grow super fast, and so they didn't make good candidates for mass production. So we really, they almost disappeared in favor of much leaner pigs. And you hear them talking there. They're very social. We have three young females here. You can see Ava, the blonde one. She's getting some popcorn now. As you can imagine, they like to eat just about everything.
Yes.
But you can also see what makes them so unique. If you look at Ava and her blonde fur, just how woolly she is. Some people refer to these Mangalitza pigs as sheep pigs because they do have this thick wool, and it gets thicker in the winter and then thins out in the summer. And they have this thick wool because they traditionally have been raised on farms free-ranging in woods and pastures, and so they needed a lot more fur to keep them warm.
That is so cool. And they do come in several different colors like we have here.
Yes. We have the last 3 colors that exist of this pig. Like I said, they became very, very rare. They were down to about 200 animals in the 1970s. And right now we have the blonde variety, the red variety, and you notice this black and white one, that's actually referred to as swallow belly. And at one time there was a solid black variety too, but that individual kind of Mangalitza has gone extinct. They don't exist anymore.
And talk to us about their oh so adorable names.
So they are our very important pigs. They're stars here at the zoo now. And so we decided that we would name them after three stars from Hungary. They've been named after the Gabor sisters. So we have Ava, here the blonde one. The red pig is Jaja. And we have the swallow belly, which is Magda.
Very cool. And they're asking, when did we get these pigs?
They've been here for a couple of months now. They came in once they were weaned. And we've been working with them. Our keepers have been training them. They're incredibly smart. They're much smarter than dogs. And they've already learned a lot of different behaviors, which has really helped us in caring for them. And you can see they're quite clean.
Very.
And definitely enjoy interacting with one another and interacting with their toys and with all the different fun things they like to eat. So like one of the things they like to eat is the bamboo.
We've got some here that our keeper Adam that you guys met a couple days ago when we were chatting about cassowaries is here to help us out and just provided them with some bamboo.
And so one of the reasons we feed them bamboo is like I said earlier, in Central Europe, they were allowed to forage in the forests on their own, and so they would eat a lot of different different vegetable matter, and so we give them the bamboo that grows here on zoo grounds, and they really get an opportunity to eat a lot of different things to keep their diet varied.
And that leads right into Maya, age 11's question, what all do they like to eat?
Well, they get a prepared pig pellet that most pigs here in the United States would eat. But they also get bamboo, popcorn, fruit, root vegetables, just all kinds of things. They really will eat just about anything.
Yes, they will. And Kelly wants to know, where is this new exhibit?
So we took one of our oldest buildings on grounds, the historic lodge, and turned it into the barnyard exhibit. So a lot of people don't remember the lodge was the original elephant and hippo house here at the zoo.
A long time ago.
Long time ago. This building is even older than the museum and the aquarium. Wow. It was an animal building for very many years. Like I said, it housed the elephants and the hippos. Then in the 1980s, the famous giant pandas lived here.
Okay. Many of you remember that.
Sometime after that, the building was turned into an event center. And now, since we have our two really nice event centers in the museum and in Malawi, we decided to turn the building back into an animal building again. And one of the easiest things we could make the conversion for is a barnyard. And so these pigs are our stars, but they'll be joined soon by sheep and goats and alpacas. You heard the chickens earlier that are coming to be part of this. The building itself is their winter and night quarters. Mm-hmm. If it's not a very nice day outside, the public will be able to come in here and stay out of the rain and meet the animals. But most of the time, you'll be able to go out and meet them actually in our plaza.
Very cool.
So really close to the splash pad, we have a nice enclosed area where kids can come with their parents and meet all the different animals now that'll be living in the barnyard. It's pretty important to us that we brought this sort of exhibit back. You know, we want to inspire people about animals. We want people to care about animals. And one of the best ways to do that is to give them meaningful interactions with the animals. Barnyards used to be so much more prevalent. Children growing up on farms used to be certainly a very common thing in the United States. Mm-hmm. It's not nearly as much so now. So being able to allow children to come in here and see these animals, to get up close to them, to be able to pet and feed them. And with animals like these pigs, I mean, on top of just being a really interesting, iconic farmyard animal, they're an amazing heritage breed that brings with it a lot of different attributes that make it so very, very special.
And they are so cute.
They are cute.
They're
really showing off for you now with all three of them. Having fun with their bamboo.
Yes, oh my goodness. And yes, guys, he did mention the petting and feeding opportunities. Obviously, as we are not open yet and we are working out all of how it will look when we reopen, that might not be the first available activity here, but you will be able to at least get to see these guys, and down the road the goal is to pet and feed, right?
Oh, definitely. Now, our pig friends here are more of a visual experience, but the alpacas and the sheep and the goats you'll certainly be able to interact with. But the pigs are just fantastic, and they're just so incredibly smart. We might be able to see them actually do something here in a second.
All right. Well, while we're getting ready for that, let's take a few questions here. Kelly would like to know, how old are these pigs?
They're less than a year old.
And about how much do they weigh right now?
About 100 pounds a piece right now, but this pig breed is pretty cool in how big they get at maturity. Historically, they would have reached 400 pounds a piece.
Wow.
So really big. And now Adam, their keeper, who they really, really like, is going to show you some of the many behaviors they've already learned.
And Jeff's going to kind of talk us through what he's doing here.
So one of the first things Adam has done with these pigs is teach them to move where that target pole goes. This is really helpful because it allows us to get the pigs to go where we want them to. If we need to put them into a crate to move them to the vet clinic or to take them to another part of the zoo, very simple to do that if they know we want them to go where that target pole goes.
Very cool.
And as you can see, they really enjoy the training. They find it fun, and of course, they love the little treats that come with it.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. They've been taught to sit just like your dogs. Adam's actually working with them right now to teach them to allow us to do a blood draw if we needed to test their health.
That's amazing.
And so to do that, he's desensitized them to us working around their ears. With a pig, that's where you draw the blood. And that allows us to do a lot of medical procedures without upsetting the animal because they're familiar with what we're trying to do and what we're asking them to do.
Absolutely. And Sam wants to know, he's 7, he'd like to know, why are their noses shaped the way they are?
Well, pigs have a lot of cartilage in their nose. So if you grab your nose and kind of squeeze it, feel how rubbery it is? Well, a pig's nose is even more so. And it's really important because that nose can be used to root up all kinds of things. So in parts of France, between their incredible sense of smell and their incredibly industrious nose, pigs are used to find truffles.
Oh yes, and those are quite expensive delicacies.
Quite expensive, and the pigs are trained to go out and find these really rare mushrooms that are underground, and they use their nose to root that up. And that's why if you see pigs on a farm, a lot of times you'll see them living in a very muddy condition, and that's because pigs love to root.
Yes.
Now we allow our pigs to root here in their indoor space by providing lots of wood shavings and straw. Mm-hmm. It's so funny when we come in the morning, they're all piled up asleep together, and they build a little nest. This is their bed back here in the corner.
Oh, they're so cute.
But just really cool animals.
Yes. Callum wants to know if they're shaved like sheep.
No, actually, you don't shear them like you would a sheep. They naturally thin out in the summer and then put on a much thicker coat come winter. If you actually Google Mangalitza pigs, you'll see some of the individuals in winter that have very thick coats.
And Drew, age 4, asks, how old can they get?
Pigs can live a while. You know, in a natural situation on a farm, if they're not being raised for food, they can live 15 or 20 years.
Very cool. And Chelsea asks, is their fur as soft as it looks?
No. Pigs are bristly, and that's important too. That bristly fur gives them a lot of protection when they're moving through the forest. You can imagine if you're walking through a bunch of briar patches and such, you might get pricked by thorns. Well, with that fur, that's just not really going to happen. And it gives them a lot of protection from the sun as well.
Ah, something I hadn't thought about. Yeah. And guys, this is, as we said, our new Nancy L. and Martin Davidson barnyard. It's in the old lodge, which is located just off of Main Plaza between the Carnivore Cafe, the splash pad, and across from the museum, just so you guys can kind of get your bearings. And we are in the indoor area. Jeff, tell us a little bit about the outdoor area.
Well, the outdoor area will have very large paddocks for the different animals to be able to go outside and enjoy the sun and the fresh air. The sheep and goats will actually be in a very large section in which children can go in and interact with the animals. The pigs and alpaca will be in their own separate areas and can be seen and interacted with from the fence line. And then, of course, we'll have our chickens and some of our other animals out just milling about.
And we were talking earlier, there are 3 different types of chickens that we have currently. Can you tell us
we
about
have
those?
silky chickens, and they're called silky chickens because their feathers are very disintegrated and incredibly soft. It's a very, very old breed from Asia. We have another Asian breed, the light Brahma, which is a huge, very gentle chicken.
They are huge, though, guys. They're the biggest chickens I've ever seen.
That's who we were hearing crow a minute ago. Maybe they'll visit us here in a second.
Okay.
But that's a breed that was developed for egg laying. And so the hens, they will lay an egg a day all year round.
Oh, wow.
And then we have a really cool one that most people will not have seen from France called a salmon faverolles, where the males and females look different. The males have a big beard underneath their beak.
Oh, neat.
It's another egg-laying chicken. And we can't wait for you to see all those as well. And of course, the sheep and alpacas and other things will be arriving before opening. Oh,
All
there's
right.
our friend.
Here, Adam has arrived with our rooster
So
here.
this is a Brahma chicken. They're really cool chickens. This is the rooster. And his hens, like I said, will lay an egg a day. And this is a breed you probably would see around Ohio. You might see in people's yards, or they might have free-range chicken eggs that are coming from this breed of chicken. Because they're very winter hardy, so they can handle our winters. Mm-hmm. And they're very good at converting just about anything they can find to eat in the yard into eggs.
And he's pretty big. Talk
He's
to us about
a
how
big
much
chicken.
he weighs.
Yeah, he weighs a few pounds. But the other really cool thing, if you look, they have feathered feet.
Yes.
And that's a really interesting development on this breed. A lot of the things that you see on chicken breeds were developed for aesthetic reasons, and not necessarily to make them more adapted to one thing or another. But the size of this breed and its propensity to lay eggs all year round, and to especially be a good egg layer in the winter, were things that were developed specifically to make them more useful to farmers.
That is amazing.
And you can see just how gentle this
Yes.
breed is. I mean, they're really wonderful.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And if you guys have been tuning in, we did a silky chicken. We met a silky chicken a few weeks back with Josh from our education department. So if you want to learn more about those, go back through our timeline and look for that one. But at this point, we've got some more questions here. Nicole wants to know, how many times a day do the pigs eat?
They eat a couple times a day. They get their breakfast, and then they get some food later in the evening. And then they often get items like the bamboo that they can snack on all day long. They shake the bamboo leaves loose.
Yes, and take them from each other. That's so adorable. And Ainsley would like to know, is there a good time of the day to come see them, specifically like when they're being fed?
The best time to come see any of the animals at the zoo is around opening time at 10 in the morning. A lot of them are just getting out into their enclosures and seeing the enrichment and other opportunities they have to do things during the day. And you'll see a lot more activity. A lot of people don't realize it, but the zoo animals are often a lot more active on overcast, drizzly days, cool fall days.
Yep.
I mean, personally, my insider tip to zoos: choose the days you don't think would be great days to go to the zoo. Those are the days the animals are most active.
And those are the times that there are the least amount of people here. You'll get the most up-close interactions, and you'll probably see our staff out and about, and they're always happy to answer questions and talk to you guys about what you're seeing too. So that is a really good insider tip. And let's see, Allison and Fred and a few others are asking, can you go over their names again?
Yeah, so the blonde pig is Ava, the red pig is Jaja, and the swallow-belly pig is Magda.
All right. And Natalie asks, what are the tags on their ears for?
So in agriculture, oftentimes the animals don't have individual names, but people want to know which pig is which or which animal is which. And so ear tags are a very common method. So these 3 pigs came to us with ear tags. It's a great way for farmers to be able to quickly determine which pig is which, or which animal. You'll see sheep and goats with ear tags too. My guess is you'll probably see quite a few of them at county fairs.
Yes.
But it's just a way for people to be able to quickly see which animal is which when there's quite a large number of them.
And you mentioned their names. We actually have letters placed on the wall corresponding with their names. What are those for? Training them.
Oh, well, yes.
I set him up, guys. Sorry.
She's setting up. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Kim. Yes, we do train them to station. And when we say station, that's when we want the 3 pigs to separate and go to their own corners, so to speak, and allow us to either focus on one animal or to do some activities that we don't really need them underfoot for. So I know all of you that have, pet cats and dogs, there's times when you really just don't want that dog in the kitchen while you're in there trying to cook or to do other things. Well, the pigs are the same way, except they probably weigh a lot more than your dog.
True statement.
And their manners are a little bit different than your dog too. So teaching them to station is actually a really good behavior. We do that with quite a few animals in zoos. Some zoos actually train their large birds to station so that they can feed them and ensure that every bird gets exactly what they need to eat.
That would be a good way to make sure everybody's getting a full diet, because Magda here that we're looking at right now, the black and white one, we saw her earlier stealing food.
Yeah, she's the biggest, and she's the biggest because she likes to sample from everybody's food bowl.
Yes. And Karen wants to know, will we let them get 400 pounds or keep them a little smaller?
We'll keep them healthy. We obviously are not raising these pigs for an agricultural reason. We'll let them grow as they would typically, which is fairly slow for a pig, and they'll reach a size probably in the 200 to 300 pound range.
They're still going to be a very good sized pig.
A very big animal, yes.
And Brendan and Lucas would like to know if the pigs have good hearing and good eyesight.
They have very good hearing. Their sense of smell is incredible. And those 2 senses are better than their sense of sight, but they can also see well too. I would not say that they have as good an eyesight as people, but what they lack in that sense, they more than make up for with their noses.
Most definitely. And Lillian asks, what kind of treats do they get?
Well, they love apples and grapes, just all kinds of fruits and vegetables, the popcorn.
Oh, yes.
Basically, other than meat, which they would eat if we offered it to them, but we don't, they eat everything a person would eat.
Fair enough. All right. And Betsy asks, what do their different tail movements mean?
A lot of it's contentment. So they're busily involved in things. Their minds are active, and so their little tails are just wagging as part of expressing their contentment in what they're doing.
Very cool. And let's see, Seth asks, how much will they eat, like in a day maybe?
Well, we feed them a percentage of their body weight, so they'll probably eat a couple percentages of their body weight a day. But we don't overfeed them because that's not good for any animal. It's not good for a person. So we make sure that they get a healthy amount. Obviously, our veterinarians are very much involved with how much they get to eat. And we want them to grow because they are young and they are growing pigs, but we don't want them to grow too quickly. It's not what the breed was developed to do. If this was 100 years ago in Hungary, they would be out with their mother in a pasture or in a forest foraging and just getting whatever they could find. So we have to be a little careful with them here that they don't eat too much.
Athena would like to know, how did you choose what kind of pigs to get?
Well, pigs are cool, just period. I mean, they're incredibly smart. But this particular breed, being so rare and having some attributes that are pretty unique to it, these heritage breeds, in addition to being developed for a specific region of the world and different environmental conditions, they also have a lot of resilience to disease. At the same time, when you consider the massive way agriculture is accomplished around the world today, all of these different varieties don't really mesh with that mass production mode. And so all over the world, breeds that were developed for those specific areas are disappearing. And with them, we're losing all of the different genetic diversity and behavioral diversity with them. And it's not just are domestic animals. It's also with plants. You might have heard of heirloom seeds or heirloom vegetables.
Yes, like tomatoes.
Like tomatoes, but actually any vegetable. It's the exact same thing. So many different varieties of vegetables were developed for specific regions of the world, specific soil types, specific environmental standards, and we're losing those as well because those were not designed for mass production. You know, your heirloom tomatoes were not developed to be able to be shipped across country.
Right. And this all goes in with our mission of trying to inspire people to care about animals and conserve the natural world.
And with these breeds, they're really a part of our culture. You know, humans have had a long association with animals. We've domesticated animals and
For
breeds
thousands of years.
for thousands of years. The pig very early on, and this particular breed, with its connection to Eastern Europe, and it's just really unique aesthetics, made it a natural choice for the zoo.
And Allison asks, is this breed or other types of pigs endangered or threatened?
Well, we don't really consider it the same way as we would a wild animal. At this time, I think this breed is actually considered vulnerable because enough individuals have become interested in them that their numbers are beginning to grow. In fact, they didn't exist in the United States until the 1990s.
Oh, wow.
And then some interested farmers brought them into this country. One of the reasons people are so interested in some of these heritage breeds is even though they are a very fat pig, they were developed for lard. When allowed to free range, when allowed to live the way and grow the way they were designed to do, those lards and fats aren't as bad for people as a lot of the processed ones are.
True.
And so, you know, part of the reason that they've been saved from disappearing is people realize they taste very different from other pigs. Very different from a pork chop you might get from the store. And as a result, people are beginning to see real value in these heritage breeds again.
That is so cool. And talk to us about this new exhibit. You mentioned, you know, that we wanted to return to a petting zoo type. How did you go about choosing the other animals and what you wanted people to kind of do with them here?
Well, in most of the species that we're going to have here, most of the breeds, we picked primarily those that would be great for kids to be able to interact with. So the sheep and goats we're getting, the goats are a pygmy goat variety, but you know, not an actual documented breed per se. Okay. The sheep are just some nice sheep we've been able to get. And they were all selected to have a nice animal that children could go in and interact with. The alpacas are coming because it's a very unique domesticated breed, one of the few domesticated animals from the New World, from South America.
South America.
And you can feed them, which is a nice opportunity for the guests to get to do.
And talk about how that will eventually work.
We'll eventually have the ability for our guests to come in, and if they wish to, they can actually purchase some food and feed the animals. But if you just want to go in and pet the animals and interact with them, that's part of a day at the zoo.
Yep, and that part is included with zoo admission.
And your membership, for that matter.
Yep.
So it's an incredible opportunity to be able to come in and just interact with animals again. And I know a lot of people, especially people my age, remember the zoo had a farm area historically, back near where the elephants are now.
Okay.
Very popular area. And even before that, some of us might even remember Wonder Valley that existed beyond or behind the museum that had a great deal of animals living in it as well. We wanted to bring that back. And this building, the lodge, being able to bring this back as an animal structure, you know, we're very proud of our architecture here at the zoo. And this was a very simple way to modify this building without doing a ton of construction work and bring some really interesting animals back to the zoo. And
you mentioned the construction work. That was all handled by zoo staff.
Well, yeah, it was handled by zoo staff because we have some incredible artisans that work for us in our our maintenance department. They have done an amazing job in here.
It looks gorgeous in here.
At the same time, it was something we needed to get done in-house because you know, we wanted to do this quickly and just get it done.
Absolutely. And we are always trying to add some new exhibits, new things to the membership to draw people back here. And that was a bit of the motivation for this too.
That, but I think the bigger motivation was I felt like there was something missing in the ability for our guests to interact with animals. And I think this is a very great opportunity for that.
Very cool. And Calvin, age 6, wants to know if that yellow ball back there is for them to play with.
Oh yeah, they love that. Play with that. So are the 2 blue balls.
Yep, all different forms of enrichment for them to use their smarts.
Yep, and if you look, there's actually some brushes there that they can scratch themselves with. They really like that. As anyone who's been around pigs can tell you, they love to scratch an itch by rubbing up against a wall or other rough substance.
And how else can people get involved with this project? I know there's some donor opportunities and Zoopal opportunities for these oh so cute pigs.
There are. You can contact the zoo's membership or development department and work with them if you have a desire to sponsor a bench here at the Nancy and Martin Davidson barnyard. The animals themselves are up for Zoopal adoption, so our 3 wonderful pigs are available if you'd like to help support them. As we said at the beginning of this live stream, any help right now is greatly appreciated because we're not open.
Yeah.
The zoo really depends on people coming through the gate. I couldn't thank our members enough. They have continued to renew their memberships and buy new memberships, and that's really what's allowing us to keep going.
And we appreciate you guys so much tuning in and helping us out, hitting that donate button here on our live feeds and supporting our Zoo Pals. If you'd like to become a Zoo Pal for these so cute and very important pigs, you can go to toledozoo.org/zoopal to do that. And as Jeff said, we do remain closed. We are hopeful that we will get some guidance from the governor soon and be able to have a reopening date. And as soon as we know more information, we will absolutely let you guys know on here, on our website, and on our social pages. We are going to end today's live feed with the question that we ask almost all of our interviewers. What is your favorite part about your job here at the zoo, Jeff?
My favorite part is no 2 days are the same. Every day at the zoo is a different day. That's what's drawn me to it.
And how did you get here?
I grew up on a farm and worked around animals and had animals all throughout my youth and loved going to the zoo.
All right, guys. So you've met these cute pigs. When we are reopened, you will absolutely be able to come see them in the new Nancy L. and Martin Davidson barnyard, located in the old lodge near Main Plaza here at your Toledo Zoo. Remember, we are taking Monday off for the holiday, but we promise we've got a real cute video for you to check out during our normal live stream time. So thanks so much for tuning in and meeting these pigs, and we will see all of you next week. Have a good weekend.